Hi guys, this is Akhlaq Ahmed. Welcome back to my channel once again. Hope everyone's having a good day, evening, wherever you are in the world. So today guys, we're going to do something. I mean, if you see my last few tutorials, I normally do something a bit creative, but I just want to touch up here because I feel it's a very important subject on the importance of frequency separation. Now, this is a commonly used technique used by photographers. So let me just explain as we go along. So let's just get stuck in, guys. So first things first, we just want to duplicate this layer twice. So yeah, we've got that twice. So what we want to do is we want to rename these. So one I'm going to call texture, the other one will call skin, or you can just do layer 1 or layer 2, you know. But just call it something that you feel comfortable with. Now, what we're going to do here is, guys, we're just going to sort of like smoothen the skin, and we're going to do that by a technique called frequency separation, as I've just mentioned. So now that we've got these these texture, the layers, sorry, we've got the layers duplicated. What we want to do is just make sure you click on the texture, and what we want to do here is we want to go on filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and see now what we're going to do here is, now depending on the sort of image you took, we can adjust the radius. So I can go here or make it more, but I'm going to stick with let me just have a look. I'd say around about 33, 32. I think this is best for this image. Again, it depends on the image, but the reason why I'm leaving it at 33.2 is because the way this image has been taken, you can see the light, the beautiful light reflecting on this model's face. So I feel 33.2. Now you can always adjust that depending on your image, but that's what I'd go for. So I'm going to click on OK. Next, we want to go on the top layer, which is skin. Then we want to go on image, apply image. And then make sure this is on texture, because what we're doing is we're going to extract. Basically, what we're doing is we're asking Photoshop to extract the texture of the texture layer and kind of like blend them in the skin layer, if that makes sense. So what we're doing, make sure this is on subtract, because we're asking it to subtract the textures from the texture layer into the skin. So that's the whole purpose of doing frequency separation. You know, as I said, it's a very commonly tool used by photographers. Just make sure your scale is on 2 and 128. Once you've got that, and make sure the source is should be already set, and you click on OK. Then as you go on here, just make sure you slide it down to linear light, and you can see the image looks back to normal again, but it is back to normal, but we've just made some adjustments. So just to recap, guys, what we're doing is we're asking Photoshop, can you extract the textures from the texture layer and kind of like blend it into the skin. Now, if you see many photographers, they take the brush tool, and they kind of like airbrush the face. Of course, that is good if you're, running on deadlines and your clients are waiting, but it doesn't look as effective as the frequency separation. So now that we've got this, what we're going to do here is we're going to just make sure you've clicked on the skin layer. What we're going to do is, now there's two ways of doing this. You can either go on to the quick selection tool, even though I wouldn't recommend it depending on the image. So just say like, can you see how it's covered the whole face? So I wouldn't recommend it for this sort of image. So what I'll do is I'll go on this one, the lasso tool, and what we're going to do is we're going to draw around the forehead of the model. This is a photo shoot that I did about a few years ago with this model. So I feel it's a very important image for this tutorial. So you can see I've gone down the model's forehead. Now this is where it gets exciting. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go around it, and then what we simply do is we're going to go on to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. I'm just going to zoom out here. Now, as I said, you can sort of like zoom out, but can you see the difference it's made already on the forehead? So if I just click on OK now, there, can you see what it's done? I'm just going to go and click Control and D just to get that highlight off. Can you see there what it's done with the skin? This is how effective it is. So that was the before, and that was the after. I'll show you the before and after at the end, but this is to give you an idea. Can you see what it's done? So basically we've asked it to take the textures from the textures layer and then just blend it in the skin layer. So again, we're gonna go, I'll just zoom in a bit so you can see. So I'm gonna go do the same thing again, just go around the cheekbone of the model. Just gonna go around there like that. Again, filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Can you see that? Then OK, then Control and D just to deselect. Look how beautiful that is, guys. It is a very effective way of making your images just pop out. I mean, already you can tell how beautiful the skin is. Now I'll just go on the nose area, say around here. Then you're gonna do this a few times, so it's always the same. So filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Okay, look, see how this brought the nose out there. So we'll do that again over here. Let's go below the eye. Let's go around here. Again, filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Okay, look at that, guys. Look how beautiful it makes the skin pop out. Now I'm just gonna show you something. I'm just gonna sort of like just go over a bit over here before I move on to the next step. So filter, blur, Gaussian blur, control. I mean, just look at that, guys. It looks proper. You know, it just looks very realistic. It just makes the image pop out in no time. You know, there is a difference between, even though you can't tell, there is a difference between this and airbrushing over the model's face. So they're both not the same thing, even though you can't tell the difference. But just look at that, guys. I mean, speaking of which, guys, I forgot to mention, these sort of images are very good to advertise in a magazine. And guess what, guys? I've actually got this image appear in a magazine just with the power of the frequency separation. So you can see it's a very effective tool. So and I'll show you at the end of the video the magazine. So I'm just gonna go a bit there on the chin. So filter, blur, Gaussian blur. There, just look at that, guys. How realistic does that look? I mean, clients have been willing to pay me more than what is expected because they love how the images pop out. So you can see, guys, it is a very effective way of making your images stand out. Now, I was going to mention something. So let me just group these, the skin and the texture. I'm going to highlight these two, Control and G for group. Now, if I go on before, look at this before and after. So this is what it was looking before. You can see the skin doesn't look right. after, before, after. Do you see that? Before, after. I mean, it's so effective that if you look, can you see this hair, the hair kind of like on the model's face, bits of hair? If I go on after, can you see how it makes it look invisible? That's how effective it makes your images pop out. You know, I strongly recommend this technique to any photographer. Now, I was going to say something. So, can you see these sort of like little bits over here across the eyelashes? Now, those are the kind of difficult to reach areas. So, just an extra tip to add here. So, what I'm going to do here is we're going to go on to let's go on skin, then go on this tool here and click on black and white there. Now once we've got the black and white, do you see down here I'm going to crush the reds down and you'll see why. So now that I've crushed the reds down, can you see what's going on now? Now it gives the ability to see what's not looking right in the image. So you can clearly see the dotted area above the model's eyelash here. So what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to go on to the clone stamp tool. I'm going to just zoom in. So just sample a bit of the image. Well, first thing we want to do is just click on skin, sample by Alt and sample the above one there. Can you see what's going on there? These are the difficult to reach areas. So basically this technique is good to use on difficult to reach areas. I mean, look at that, guys. It just makes the image pop out. Now because I've got the difficult to reach areas here, what I'm going to do now is, so I'm just going to get rid of it there. Now because we've used the black and white tool to actually help us to see what's not looking right. Now if I just click on, can you see? So the black and white tool has helped us to get rid of the difficult to reach areas. Now because it's helped us to do that, which means I'm going to get rid of the black and white because we don't need that no more. Let's get rid of it completely. There you go, guys. I mean, look at that. So I'm just going to show you once again before, after. I mean, how awesome is that? Look how beautiful it brings. Now, if you feel the skin is too much, or you feel it's just too much and it doesn't look right, you can always bring down the opacity here. But I strongly recommend to make sure it's done it's correct in the first place, so you don't have to mess with the opacity. That's what I highly recommend. But yeah, there you go, guys. I mean, that's frequency separation for you. I highly recommend this technique to any photographer. It is a very effective way of bringing your images pop out. I use it now. As I mentioned earlier, I've got my images in magazines, so let me just prove that to you also. So if I can find it here, let's have a look. That's not the one. I've got the magazine here. What I'll do is I'll just show you on the website instead. I've actually got this on the on my website. I'll put the links in the description anyway. So photofilm.co.uk. So this is my website. So if you go on to magazine portfolio, amateur photographer magazine, there you go, guys. That was the feature. And look, not only did it come in the magazine, but it also got the aperture photographer picture of the week. So there you can see Asian Bridal in Darkness by Akhlaq Ahmed. That's me. So there's proof for you that these images do pop out. Magazine editors love it. It's a very effective way. So I highly recommend this, guys. And there you go, guys. I hope you've learned something in this tutorial, a frequency separation. You can always type it in YouTube and you'll see many photographers use this technique. I highly recommend it. So, and that's about it, guys. If you do have any questions, just leave your comments in the text box below. Any questions, don't hesitate to ask. You can always follow me on social media, and I'll leave my links at the bottom, just as I do in every video tutorial that I do. And there you have it, guys, and I'll hopefully see you on the next tutorial. And thank you very much for watching, and have a great evening, guys. All the best. Thank you for watching.